And let me leave you with this before we even begin. Never lose yourself trying to prove your worth to people who were never willing to see it. Now, listen to me carefully. Some people will smile in your face and still poison your peace. Some people will clap for you in public and criticize you in private. Some people only love the version of you that is easy to control. And the moment you start respecting yourself, they call you changed. No, you didn't change. You woke up. The real question is this: how long are you going to keep shrinking yourself just to fit into toxic spaces? Because the day you start respecting yourself is the day toxic people start feeling uncomfortable around you. Let's talk about how to do that. One of the greatest acts of self-respect is learning when to stop explaining yourself to people who have already decided not to understand you. There are people in this world who do not listen to understand. They listen to respond, to judge, or to twist your words, to twist your words into something that fits the story they have already created about you. No matter how calmly you speak, how honestly you explain, or how clearly you express your feelings, they will still choose to see only what serves their own mindset. When you keep trying to prove yourself to people like that, you slowly begin to drain your own peace. The truth is, not every misunderstanding is innocent. Some people misunderstand you on purpose because your confidence threatens them, your boundaries frustrate them, or your growth reminds them of where they have remained stuck. They may act confused by your decisions, question your motives, or make you feel as though you owe them a long explanation for every choice you make. But respect for yourself begins the moment you realize that your life does not need constant approval from others. You do not have to explain why you chose peace over drama. You do not have to explain why you walked away from disrespect. You do not have to explain why you no longer allow certain behavior in your life. The more you try to convince someone who is committed to misunderstanding you, the more power you hand over to them. Your energy is too valuable to be wasted on endless justifications. Sometimes silence is not weakness, it is wisdom. Silence can be the strongest response because it protects your dignity. It shows that you are no longer willing to participate in cycles of blame, manipulation, and emotional exhaustion. When you know your intentions are pure, your heart is honest, and your decision is right for your peace, that is enough. Self-respect means trusting yourself more than you trust the opinions of toxic people. It means standing firm even when others try to make you doubt your own truth. Let people think what they want if they are determined to think the worst. Their misunderstanding does not define your character. At some point, maturity teaches you that not every battle deserves your voice. Some people deserve an explanation, but some only deserve distance. The strongest people are not always the loudest. Often, they are the ones who know when to stop speaking and start protecting their peace. And in the end, remember this: those who truly value you will seek to understand you, and those who don't are not worth losing yourself over. Setting boundaries without feeling guilty is one of the strongest forms of self-respect, especially when you are dealing with toxic people. Many people struggle with this because they have been taught that saying no is rude, selfish, or disrespectful. But the truth is, constantly saying yes to protect other people's feelings while ignoring your own needs slowly destroys your peace. A boundary is not about pushing people away. It is about protecting people away. It is about protecting your mind, your heart, and your dignity from being constantly misused. Toxic people often become uncomfortable the moment you begin to create limits. They are used to having easy access to your time, your emotions, and your energy. The moment you decide that certain behavior is no longer acceptable, They may try to make you feel guilty. They might call you change, cold, difficult, or selfish. But what they are really reacting to is the loss of control they once had over you. Boundaries force people to respect the space where your peace lives, and not everyone is willing to do that. Respecting yourself means understanding that you are allowed to protect what matters to you. You are allowed to say no to conversations that drain you, situations that disrespect you, and people who repeatedly cross the line. You do not need to apologize for choosing peace over chaos. Saying, I'm not comfortable with that, or I will not allow you to speak to me this way, is not aggression. It is self-worth in action. The guilt often comes because we fear disappointing others. We worry that people will leave, become angry, or judge us. But ask yourself this: if someone only values you when you have no limits, do they truly value you at all? Real relationships can survive boundaries. Healthy people respect them. Toxic people resist them because boundaries expose their behavior. A strong boundary also teaches others how to treat you. People often follow the standards you set. If you continue to tolerate disrespect, manipulation, or constant negativity, you silently give permission for it to continue. But when you firmly communicate what is acceptable and what is not, you send a clear message that your peace is not negotiable. The most important part is to stand by your boundaries. Once you set them, a boundary without consistency is just a suggestion. Self-respect grows when your actions match your words. In the end, boundaries are not walls built out of hate. They are doors that open only for respect. Never feel guilty for protecting your peace, because the people who truly care about you will never punish you for honoring yourself. One of the most powerful ways to respect yourself around toxic people is to stop taking their behavior personally. This is not always easy, because toxic words and actions can feel deeply hurtful. When someone constantly criticizes you, dismisses your feelings, or treats you unfairly, the natural reaction is to wonder what you did wrong. But the truth is, not everything people say or do is a reflection of your worth. Very often, their behavior reveals far more about what is happening inside them than it does about you. Toxic people frequently project their own pain, insecurity, and frustration onto others. A person who feels small may try to make you feel small. Someone who is deeply insecure may criticize your confidence. A jealous person may try to downplay your success. Their words are often rooted in their own unresolved struggles, fears, and emotional wounds. When you begin to understand this, you stop allowing their negativity to define your identity. Respecting yourself means separating your value from someone else's opinion. Just because someone speaks badly about you does not make it true. Just because they question your intentions does not mean your heart is wrong. People often judge others through the lens of their own experiences and emotions. A bitter person may assume everyone has bad intentions. A dishonest person may struggle to trust honesty in others. Their perspective is shaped by who they are, not by who you truly are. This is why it is so important not to internalize every harsh word or toxic action. If you absorb everything they throw at you, you begin carrying burdens that were never yours to hold. You start doubting yourself, overthinking your actions, and losing confidence in your own truth. But self-respect means refusing to let someone else's broken perspective become your self-image. Instead, remind yourself that their behavior belongs to them. Their anger is theirs. Their jealousy is theirs. Their negativity is theirs. You do not have to carry it. You do not have to wear it. You do not have to wear it. You do not have to turn it into a story about your own worth. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is remind yourself, this is about them, not me. That simple shift protects your peace and keeps you grounded in your own value. People can only make you feel less than if you accept their version of you as truth. In the end, respecting yourself means choosing not to let toxic behavior rent space in your mind. Know who you are, stay rooted in your truth, and never let someone else's darkness convince you that your light is dim. Protecting your energy is one of the deepest forms of self-respect, especially when you are surrounded by toxic people. Energy is not just about how physically tired you feel. It is about your mental peace, your emotional strength, and the way your spirit responds to the people and situations around you. Every conversation you have, every environment you enter, and every person you allow close to you has an effect on your inner state. Some people leave you feeling inspired, calm, and stronger, while others leave you drained, anxious, and emotionally exhausted. Respecting yourself means learning to recognize the difference and choosing peace over pressure. Toxic people often feed off constant drama, negativity, and emotional reactions. They may pull you into arguments, create unnecessary tension, or repeatedly bring chaos into your life. If you are not careful, their energy can begin to influence your mood, your thinking, and even your decisions. This is why protecting your energy is not selfish. It is necessary. Your mind cannot grow in peace if it is constantly surrounded by conflict. Your confidence cannot stay strong if it is repeatedly attacked by negativity. Self-respect means understanding that not every situation deserves your emotional investment. You do not need to react to every insult, answer every accusation, or engage in every argument. Sometimes the strongest response is choosing not to respond at all. Silence can protect your peace more than words ever could. Walking away from unnecessary conflict is not weakness, it is wisdom. It shows that you value your peace more than winning an argument. Protecting your energy also means being careful about who has access to your inner world. Not everyone deserves to know your thoughts, your plans, or your vulnerabilities. Toxic people often use what they learn about you as a weapon during moments of conflict. Respecting yourself means limiting access to those who repeatedly misuse your trust. Your energy is the fuel behind your growth, your goals, and your happiness. When it is constantly drained by toxic influences, it becomes harder to focus on what truly matters. You may start feeling mentally exhausted, emotionally unstable, or disconnected from your own sense of self. That is why creating distance from negativity is an act of strength. At the end of the day, protecting your energy is about choosing what deserves a place in your life. Give your time and emotions to what uplifts you, not what destroys your peace. Respect yourself enough to step away from anything that constantly drains your spirit. The people, places, and situations you allow around you shape the life you live. So guard your peace like something priceless, because it truly is. Knowing your worth even when others don't is one of the strongest signs of true self-respect. Toxic people often try to make you question your value. They may speak to you in ways that make you feel small, dismiss your efforts, ignore your feelings, or make you believe that you are asking for too much. Over time, if you are not careful, their words can begin to shape the way you see yourself. This is why it becomes so important to hold on to your own sense of worth. Even when the people around you fail to recognize it, your worth does not decrease simply because someone else refuses to see it. A diamond remains valuable even if it is lying in the dirt. In the same way, your character, your heart, your effort, and your presence do not lose value because someone toxic chooses to overlook them. People often judge others based on what they can gain, control, or benefit from. When you stop being easy to manipulate, some may suddenly act as if you are the problem, but that does not change who you are. Respecting yourself means refusing to let another person's opinion become the mirror through which you view your life. If someone constantly criticizes you, that criticism should not automatically become your truth. Sometimes people speak from jealousy, insecurity, or resentment. They may try to convince you that you are not enough simply because your confidence threatens them. The danger comes when you begin to believe those words and start living beneath your true potential. Knowing your worth means understanding what you deserve. You deserve respect, honesty, peace, and healthy treatment. You deserve to be spoken to with kindness and considered with dignity. When toxic people make you feel like basic respect is something you need to earn, remind yourself that human dignity is not a reward, it is a right. This also means not settling for spaces where your value is constantly ignored, whether it is in relationships, friendships, or work environments. Self-respect asks you to recognize when you are being undervalued. Staying too long in places that make you feel invisible can slowly weaken your confidence. But the moment you truly know your worth, you stop begging for recognition from those who refuse to give it. In the end, the most important voice in your life should be your own. Let that voice remind you that you are enough, that your presence matters, and that your value is not determined by the opinions of toxic people. Respect yourself enough to believe in your worth, even when others are blind to it, because the way you see yourself will always shape the life you choose to accept. Walking away without looking back is often the highest form of self-respect when dealing with toxic people. Many people stay in unhealthy situations far longer than they should because they are afraid of being alone, afraid of what others will think, or hopeful that the toxic person will eventually change. But there comes a moment when staying begins to cost more than leaving. When your peace is constantly disturbed, your confidence is repeatedly broken, and your value is continuously ignored, walking away is not giving up. It is choosing yourself. Toxic environments have a way of making you question your own strength. They can convince you that you need to keep trying, keep fixing, keep tolerating, and keep sacrificing your peace for the sake of keeping the relationship or connection alive. But respect for yourself means recognizing when enough is enough. Not every situation can be healed by patience, and not every person deserves endless chances. Sometimes the most courageous thing you can do is accept that some people are committed to remaining the way they are. Walking away is difficult because emotions are often involved. You may care deeply, have invested time, or built memories with that person. But self-respect asks you to look beyond emotions and ask a more important question. Is this connection helping me grow, or is it slowly destroying my peace? If the answer is destruction, then leaving becomes necessary. Many toxic people rely on your willingness to stay no matter how badly they treat you. They expect your forgiveness to be endless and your tolerance to have no limits. The moment you walk away, you break that cycle. You send a clear message that your peace, dignity, and self-worth are not negotiable. Walking away also means refusing to keep revisiting the pain. This is why not looking. G-back matters. If you keep reopening the door, re-entering the same arguments, or allowing the same disrespect back into your life, you remain trapped in the same cycle. Moving forward requires strength, discipline, and faith in your own decision. Respecting yourself means understanding that leaving does not make you weak. In fact, it takes far more strength to leave something familiar but harmful than to remain in it out of fear. Growth often begins where comfort ends. In the end, walking away is not about hatred or revenge. It is about choosing peace over chaos, healing over hurt, and dignity over desperation. Some doors are meant to close so that your life can finally move in the direction it was meant to go. Respect yourself enough to leave what no longer honors your worth, and never look back at a place that only taught you how to lose yourself. Let me end with this. Toxic people survive on your tolerance. The moment you stop tolerating disrespect, manipulation, and negativity, you take your power back. Respecting yourself is not arrogance. It is knowing that your peace, dignity, and worth are non-negotiable. Never let anybody make you feel guilty for choosing yourself. Because the moment you start honoring yourself, the world will too. Stand tall. Speak less. Protect your peace and never lower your standards just to keep toxic people comfortable.